audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, "What?" As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, "What a ride." High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, Call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
I always like to say this every Friday. Friday sees no more smiles than any other day of the work week. And I'm so delighted to welcome you to the Friday edition of the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. I am Olumide Shokoya. Good morning. It's always a pleasure to have you here. I'm not the only one here. Of course, I'm not flying solo. I also have Vivian Oguche joining me for the Friday edition.
Yeah, so it's a slang in the house when we say we are not flying solo, right?
Yes,
I'm fine. How are you? And like you said, Fridays sees more smiles than any day of the week. And it's such a pleasure to have you join us on the show today. Like Olumide said, I am Vivian Oguche. Well, if you're ready, let's get this show on the road. After this short break, stay with us for etiquettes. All right, house guest etiquette. Oh my gosh, this one is juicy. House guest etiquette refers to the rules of behavior and consideration for hosts and guests in a home. Here's a comprehensive guide for guests. Let's begin with guests. If you are a guest, number one, communicate. What's that? What does that mean? Well, check it out. Inform your host of your arrival and departure times and any other important details. 2, respect boundaries. Don't enter private areas without permission. For example, if you're in the north and you see Bashiga, it's saying no entry. That's where you have females who wear their hijabs, and no other man is supposed to look at them except for their husband if they're naked. That's why it's good to know and understand the culture of a place when you travel.
You're right about that.
Yes, this is very important. Also, offer help. That's when you're a guest in a house. Assist with household chores or cooking. Be considerate. Keep noise levels down, especially at night. Clean up, yes. Help with cleaning and tidying. Help with cleaning, that's one. And then tidy up after yourself. Now, Olumide, I don't know about you. If someone is a guest in your house, would you like them to clean up after a meal? For me, well, no.
It's courteous.
It is.
When you have been served a meal and you take it to the kitchen or you offer to clean up, then it is also courteous for the person, the host, to tell you, oh, don't worry about I'll do the dishes.
So it swings both ways. So let me take that again. Clean up. Help with cleaning and tidy up yourself after a meal or whatever. And number 6, show gratitude. Oh my God, this is $1 million. Show gratitude. Express thanks for your host's hospitality. Number 7, respect rules. Follow household rules such as removing shoes or not smoking. Exactly. Olumide is going up for us.
You know, that not smoking. I believe, except it's a smoking area, which I believe people would not do. You would not go to someone's house and just light up a cigarette. No, it's a
but that's in this climb. If you go to other climbs where smoking is a norm,
yes,
could do that.
Yes, I've seen a white man in a church in Nigeria. He just
smoking.
Yeah, he just stood up from the auditorium and he was walking. He had not even gotten outside the auditorium, and he lit a cigarette. So they had to stop him. No. So I was just laughing, but that's in his own culture, in his own climb. That's how they do it. It's okay, but for here, and this funny thing when you go to a guest house and you pretend, especially when they are cooking, you pretend as if you are not aware that they are cooking. And even when they are bringing the food, you pretend as if you don't know.
You keep a straight face.
Keep a straight face. So then you give, oh, thank you. You already know. You know that's why you even went there. So let's quickly move on. For host this time around, clear communication. Discuss expectations and boundaries with your guest. Well, discussing boundaries with your guest, it depends. If it's a regular guest, someone you're familiar with, your close friend, of course, there are some things you would like to tell them that, do this. But if it's someone who is just visiting for the first time, you might just want to let that person off the hook, especially if you know that person is matured enough to know certain things that maybe this is first time. For instance, if you're entering a house where there's a rug, some people might not pull up their shoes. Some people might. Now, you as the host, you might just want to overlook it. That just come in with your shoes. Do you understand? It's just for a while. But if it's someone who's a regular customer, let me put it that way, regular customer, of course, be like, I beg, pull off your shoes, Joe. Do you understand? So if it's the first time, you might just want to overlook it. But also, some people would also offer that, can I take off my shoes? Even if it's on a towel. Some people might offer that, can I take off? And you'll be like, no, just come in.
Yeah.
All right, provide essentials. Offer amenities like towels, toiletries, and Wi-Fi. These days, I don't know about Wi-Fi. But, if you have Wi-Fi in your house, please notify me. I'll be your regular guest. Be flexible. Accommodate your guest needs and schedule. With this, in this, I don't want to call it anybody's time. We used to say in Buhari's time.
Obasanjo's time.
Obasanjo's time.
This one is Tinubu's time.
This one is Tinubu's time. So probably in this Tinubu's time, offering people certain things might not be possible because of, so whatever you're offered, just be grateful because, who knows whether they even have enough to offer you. So it's best to just be grateful. If they offer you water, accept it. If they offer you a drink, if they even put on the air condition, you should be grateful because, these days, electricity is not something cheap. Also, set boundaries, establish clear rules and expectations. Now, show hospitality, yes, make your guests feel welcome and comfortable. Respect privacy. Now, you give your guest space and privacy when needed. Follow up. Check on your guest to ensure they have everything they needed. That's if probably you are doing something in the kitchen, you can come out couple of times. Do you need anything? Are you okay? Are you okay? Do you need anything? And if they brought maybe children, you could also ask the children, are you okay? Do you need any other thing? Additional
that's
tips.
Another thing. If there are children, you need to cater to their needs as well.
Yes. Now, for certain boundaries, you might want to set boundaries for children. Maybe you might, if you have a play area, you might want to take them to the play area. Of course, if you have breakables, you might want to take breakables away from children and all that, and keep it. If you have a plastic plate or plastic, you might want to give them, not give them breakables, so that they don't, mess things up. Now, additional tips: bring a gift. Consider bringing a small gift like wine or baked goods. I know in the Western world, when you're going over to someone's house, you take a bottle of wine, you always take something. But in our culture, we like to go empty-handed. Only if it's a birthday. Even birthdays these days, people don't bring gifts anymore for birthdays these days.
Do you know the thing about birthdays? They even expect the celebrant to be the one.
Yes, to do all the everything. Be mindful of length of stay. Don't overstay your welcome.
Yes.
This is very germane. Do not overstay your welcome. Don't come around 9 a.m. and be leaving 9 p.m.
Gosh.
Some people, don't know when to leave. They don't know when the applause is loud and to leave when the applause is loud. So sometimes they overstay. So it's better 2-3 hours, depending on what you're going to see the person for. 2-3 hours or 30 minutes. If it's just to go and greet the person, maybe the person just gave birth or something. 1 hour, max 1 hour. Leave, because they too have, or they had other things they were doing, especially if it was unannounced. So they probably had something they were doing, and you were just, not necessarily intruding, but you might be intruding if you stay longer than you're supposed to. So, you know.
Yeah, but this thing you just said, it depends on the level of intimacy. For example, this might not apply to a very close relative.
Yes.
Yeah, because the host in question might be someone who wants the relative to stay for a longer period of time, you know. So I think it depends on the level of closeness, you know, or intimacy between the host and the guest. Don't you think?
These days, even relatives, well, couples don't. There's always this fight between, oh, your mother-in-law coming to stay, or this, that. You know, so it's if you are going to stay longer than a day, I feel it's best to inform.
It must be planned. That's why there must be communication. You know, you talked about communication.
Yes.
Yeah, there must be clear communication.
Yeah.
How long are you staying? If it's your mother-in-law or father-in-law, you know. You know,
it's even if it's your partner, it's good to always inform. All right, be considerate of common spaces, keep shared areas tidy and clean, respect household routines, adapt to your host daily routines, and finally, by following these guidelines, you can ensure a comfortable and enjoyable experience for both host and guest. Remember, communication and respect are key to a harmonious household. Yes, this is key, so that next time when you are coming, the person sees you and locks it down, pretend it's not at home.
Have you ever done that?
Well,
well,
back in school,
that's suspect. Okay.
Back in school, I used to do that a lot because I didn't just like receiving guests like that. I just love that. You know, only me just being alone. I just wanted that privacy for myself. So I didn't really like receiving guests that much. So that's for me. All right, so this is where we would come to an end for Etiquette this morning. Stay tuned. We have a whole lot on the National Dailies. Newspaper Review is up next. If you just joined us, this is the Breakfast Cafe right here on High Impact TV. Olumide, my colleague, and moi, Vivian, we are right here in the house. And this is a segment where we get to take a look at the major headlines on the national dailies. And we begin with the Vanguard. Major headline here says, the federal government, Ogun government, are battled to recover seized presidential jets. This is one of the biggest stories on the net right now. I got a number of riders here. Let's see if we can quickly take a look at them. Chinese firm Zhongshan secures Paris court order. This is the second rider. Order attempt by Chinese company Zhongshan to strip Nigeria of assets. That's coming from the presidency. The other rider also says Ogun government falls fraudulent legal process by Zhongshan. And the other rider says it's an international embarrassment. This is coming from Peter Obi. Olumide, this is a huge story. Three presidential jets seized. It's how did we even get here?
Billion-dollar question.
It's really sad that, I mean, when I saw this story, I was shocked. 3 presidential jets by state.
Yeah.
Not even, it's not coming from the federal government, just a state. So what went on? What deal went on, and what went bad? It's really sad. And this statement even coming from the presidency, it's not even something. I believe the presidency right now should be mum about this whole matter and try and see how they can solve this. Because whether you like it or not, definitely it's either you owed or something went wrong. There was an agreement, and when an agreement is being made and you falter, of course, the aggrieved will seek a court
redress.
Of course.
You know, if you take a look at the story, deeper look at the story, you find out how much Nigeria spends millions of dollars on maintenance alone. these jets you're talking about. I mean, and then you're talking about Nigerians sacrifice in order to make the economy better. And then you see things like this happen, and you wonder, is this for real?
Question. So how many jets or how many presidential jets do we actually have? If 3 were seized, so how many do we have left?
Yeah.
And have they bought the new one? Or well, a whole lot of questions.
Yeah, let's go back to the front page of the Vanguard. Above the masthead, you have this story here. Inflation rate eases to 33.4% in the wake of harvest season. Glory be to God. Well, you have details of that story at page 9, Vanguard. Below that, still above the masthead, NCC recommends Kudirat Kikere Ekun as Sasiji. And also, you have this one, health-wise now, monkeypox. Bielsa leads as NCDC confirms 39 cases in 33 states, and the SCT, the name alone is terrifying, monkeypox. Well, there's this other story here. On the front page of the Vanguard, it says mixed reactions as federal government plans to boost external reserves with $500 million FGN bond. Middle strip, you have the president, giving, let's see if we can find out what this is about. President Bola Tinubu and Equatorial Guinea President. Okay, now that was during a courtesy call. The President Tinubu traveled to Equatorial Guinea for a bilateral agreement. Let's find out what it is. Tinubu Uguema signed pipeline project deal. Yes, that's what that picture is about. You go below that story, you see Igbo professionals condemn Igbo must go campaign. I thought this was something that had been swept under the carpet.
It was even a ruse.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was really...
It's big deal. Well, get details of the story, page 11, Vanguard. Last but not least, here, federal government mediates between discos, MAN, I think MAN is Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, over electricity tariff hike. That's page, you get details of that story, page 19 of the Vanguard, and that wraps it up for us on the front page of the Vanguard.
All right, so let's quickly move on to the Punch newspaper, and something similar to what Vivian just read. Ogun FTZ deal. Chinese firm targets Nigeria's assets in 8 countries. 8 countries. They're going for blood, I must say.
Yeah.
They really mean business. 8 countries. Just 2 writers to that story. It says Zhongshan eyes assets in the United Kingdom, United States, and others. Presidency vows to protect jets. Now, so I have this question. You are vowing to protect your asset. What about seeking a form of redress, or what about
resolution?
Yeah. I mean, trying to sort this thing out. And what is Ogun State also doing about this? And how is it? I mean, maybe when our guest comes out, maybe he might be able to unravel this, because there's a whole lot of mystery. How Ogun State is even in
tied up in all of this.
Is tied up in all of this, and why Chinese firm decided to go after the presidential jet instead of, well, Ogun's assets, and why they decided that. That's also another question. I mean, you are owing someone's money. It's like you're owing the son money, and you go after the father's properties. That's how it is to me.
I think the jets is what they have access to, and that's what they seized. But just like you said, when our guest analyst comes on board, we are going to dig deeper. Dig
deeper into this. And just above or beside the masthead, we have court orders forfeiture of Emefiele's 2.4. I'll take it again. Court orders forfeiture of Emefiele's $2.4 million Lagos and Delta asset. So this man still seems to have a whole lot. But in as much as there's this forfeiture and all that, the major question is, when will he stand a day in court?
Yeah.
When will he, if guilty, when will he be prosecuted? Because all this, you know, it's going for months and
it's
months.
Been a protracted process.
It's been a protracted process, and I hope this will not be another Nnamdi Kanu kind of saga whereby he's just being kept somewhere for a very long time. Whatever he is, if he's guilty, let the court do their thing, and let's be done with this, and let's know that yes, it's either he's a free man or, I mean, the other side.
You know, this was what Alison Madueke was trying to avoid when she ran away from Nigeria. She didn't want to be kept in custody while you have a protracted process like this. But then, the due course of the law must run. This place. All right, just above the masthead, we have harvest season reduces food inflation through 39.5%. Olumide, that's worth celebrating, yeah? Well, harvest season. No, I mean, it's not the harvest season I'm celebrating. That the inflation is easing. You know what that translates to? Crash in prices of foodstuff. And then there'll be reduction of hunger in the land. You know, hunger was one of the major fields for the protest earlier on, the mega protest that rocked Nigeria not so long ago. But my question is, was it that there was lack of food or scarce of food, or was there was just this abrupt increase in food prices? Yeah, it was a build-up. All of these things combined, you know, with policies that were embarked upon, or how will I say it now, initiatives that this government embarked upon all at once. I think it was a problem of wrong timing. You know. All right, so I'm waiting to see the actual effect of this 39.5%, probably tomorrow when I go to the market. You can buy yam. I can buy yam. I can finally buy yam. Yeah. Well, let's see. An egg also, yes. Did you hear the amount the producer said? Yes. Egg, 2 for 15 naira. I hope so. Amen. I hope so. Federal government eyes pension funds in $500 million bond issuance. This story came, was it last year? I think it was during former President Muhammadu Buhari when we had that story that federal government was planning to borrow from pensions and all that. Well, maybe when our guest comes in, he would shed more light on this. Olumide, they borrow for pensions. They wanted to borrow for pensions. Why did they even have that idea for crying out loud? It was debunked. Okay, good. It was debunked. Because people contribute monies from their own hard work and sweat, so that when they are receiving their pensions, you are giving them their own money, which they are not even, which most of the, some of them are not receiving yet. Besides that, we have, of course, monkeypox. Federal government tightens border surveillance as cases hit 39. You know, I just hope that we are able to curtail this, because this particular disease or virus is not looking good. And you know, Nigerians, in as much as we are sometimes, I wouldn't say we have some questionable hygiene, but we just have to try as much as possible to find a way of, I think it has to do with awareness. Most of the time, it's when this thing happened that we now start to create some sort of awareness. But if we create some sort of preemptive measures, awareness, just educate people and try as much as possible to prevent certain things. Africa is always prone to certain diseases. We know this. So I believe by now we should just go ahead and be creating more awareness for certain diseases and try as much as possible to eradicate. I long for the day that malaria will be totally eradicated. And malaria, polio, and the rest of them will be eradicated from Africa. This particular case, the monkeypox, I think it was an imported one. I remember how the federal government was warned to ensure that the borders are manned, right? So they are increasing surveillance now. You remember how the COVID-19 was imported into Nigeria? Yes. By one Italian, I can't remember really, who flew into the country. He died, unfortunately. I also heard monkeypox has to do with bushmeat. Wildlife, yes. Wildlife, people eating. People have been advised not to eat. I know in this particular climate, we love bushmeat and all that. So I think maybe we should ease off on the bushmeat for now. Tell that to the cowboy. Yes, exactly. There's a pictorial representation here. I'm trying to, the caption says, Kanji. You can see a couple of people, all right. But let's quickly move on. It says here, CNJC sends Kekere Ekun. Yes, CJN rather. NJC sends Kekere Ekun's name to Tinubu today. She's been appointed the Chief Justice of the Federations. Congratulations to her. We hope that it's had to do with what's his name, Ariwola. I think he's approaching retirement soon, so she will be the replacement once Ariwola retires. And that's the story I read. Beside that, we have educationist files 11 billion naira suit against Sanwo-Olu over school demolition.
That's a big story, and I would like to monitor that and see how that goes. And lastly, it says here, Secretariat raid. NLC demands the 10 members released. That's on page 11, and we all heard that story. I actually even watched the video, an interview with Muyiwa, the first PRO, Muyiwa Adejobi. He made some certain clarifications that the building owned by NLC is being sublet to other agencies. Now, they were in search for a particular person who they've now tagged as a terrorist, according to Muyiwa Adejobi. So they raided that person's office.
So this was not a target on the NLC?
Not on the NLC. And they found certain documents. Muyiwa Adejobi was trying to manage his words. He was trying to be careful with his words. But from all indications, he's saying that some of the documents that were found might be connected or unconnected to NLC. So he was trying to reach out to them if they could also join hands in this investigation and probably capture this person. So basically, that's the whole of that. But that's all we have right now coming from the Punch newspaper this morning.
Well, I've got The Guardian, and the major headline here says, Nigeria awaits Los Angeles Olympics after Paris' 9 billion naira poor outing. And the subtitle there is Rinse and Repeat. There's a pictorial there. You see Nigerian athletes. You see Toby with her hand on her head, not looking happy at all.
It's sad.
Yeah, very sad. And then you have this other story here now, away from athletics. Falling food prices moderate inflation spike amid sustainability concerns, right? So the prices of food falling right now, but stakeholders are concerned about the sustainability. I will ask you
on Monday, Vivian. It's the weekend, right? So we would all confirm. Everyone will confirm. I'm sure everyone will want to go to the market this. So maybe we will open up the phone lines by Monday and ask, is it true?
Is it true?
Is it true?
Have the prices come down?
Exactly. Not what we see on papers.
Deal is a deal. The deal is on. All right, this other story on the front page of The Guardian says Bauchi Emirate withdraws senator's chieftaincy over alleged disrespect for governor. Page 30 has got details of that. You want to find out who exactly this is about. And this is Healthwise now. This is a headline that is common to all the dailies today. Monkeypox, NCDC places airports, seaports, states on high alert. Page 7's got details of that story. Today, The Guardian is packed. This other story says NJC recommends Kekere Ekun as a CJN, 28 other judges, right? And this other one right below that says court orders forfeiture of $2 million shares, properties linked to Emefiele. You want details of that story? Just go to page 3. Also here we have Senate defends running costs for lawmakers. Olumide, this is a story that's refusing to die. Nigerians are going for the jugular.
They are.
Yeah.
They are, because things are hard. They're telling us to tighten our belt, and we are seeing what you guys are spending. Nobody's going to. I mean, it's almost like when you go to your parents. I always like to make this comparison. When you go to your parent, you ask your dad, you need to pay my school fee, and your dad says, I don't have money, and your dad is flying all over the country. You would wonder that, is it really true? So that's how it is. Nigerians are doing the math, and I like the way Nigerians are doing the math, and it's not adding up. So we would always.
All right, and this is perfect alignment on the front page of the Vanguard. Right below that story, lawmakers defending, their running costs. You now have Peter Obi. He says, address hardship to avert another protest. Okay, no, that's not Peter Obi. It's Odenta now that is telling President Tinubu. Odenta says, address hardship to avert another protest. Who knows, maybe the prices of goods coming down now would help. But like Olumide says, fingers crossed. Last but not least, international embarrassment, says Obi, as federal government moves to recover seized jets. And that wraps it up for us on the front page of The Guardian.
All right, lastly is the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. All right, on the Daily Trust newspaper, it's a headline I am not so happy about. And
Are you happy or not happy?
Not happy about it,
okay.
And I hope it doesn't get there. Petrol pump price nears 1,000 naira per litre in the Federal Capital Territory and some state. We have 3 riders to that story. Supply on and off nationwide. So there's a scarcity today, non-scarcity tomorrow. CSO knocks NNPCL. National Oil Company silent. Well, that's it in response to that. Now, above that, we have presidential jets, federal government, and Ogun rebuff Chinese firms' claims. Well, we'll see more of that story in the coming days. Mixed feelings as inflation drops in July. Fingers crossed. Monkeypox, federal government puts Abuja, Kano, Lagos, and 6 others on high alert. I hope we can have some sort of maybe test at airports to prevent these things, to be able to detect these things, because people coming outside from outside the country into the country, they might be the major point of contact. All right, we have NJC, Nigerian Judicial Council, okays Kekere as Chief Justice of Nigeria and 28 others as Justice. You can find more of that on page 3 of the Daily Trust. Why EFCC is holding Nakan chairman. Big story there, a big story. You might want to catch up that on page 7 of the Daily Trust. APC dismisses claims of Ganduje's replacement, fixes September 12 for National Executive Council meeting. That's on, I think that's on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And below that, it says here, flawed 3.7 million Kano residents and 362 communities at risk. I'll take that again, flawed 3.7 million Kano residents and 362 communities at risk. This is coming from the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Says 227,494 persons affected in 27 states. Jigawa death toll hit 22. Just like I've always been saying, preemptive measures. Let's plan this thing for next year, and let's try and see how we can also avert this year's own. But that's all we have right now coming from the National Dailies. Let's go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll bring in our guest. Please stay tuned.
Can kill a great content idea.
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Well, if you just joined us, this is the Breakfast Cafe right here on High Impact TV. And, you know, this is a segment where we also have a guest analyst analyze the headlines we've been relaying out to you. And right now we are being joined by Adeniyi Ifetayo. He is a media analyst. And it's always a pleasure to have you join us, Adeniyi. Good morning.
Good morning. It's my pleasure once again to be here.
Good
right.
morning.
So let's
virtually.
Yeah, so let's hit the ground running, right? There's this particular story that's been making the headlines. In fact, it broke the internet, and it has the federal government and Ogun State tied up in stitches. Now, this is how the Guardian put it: international embarrassment, says Obi, as federal government moves to recover seized jets. So 3 jets, presidential jets, have been seized by a Chinese company. What's your take on this, though? Olumide has got lots of questions for you on this one. But let's start. How does this story hit you? Yeah.
Yes, it's just so embarrassing that sometimes our government, they fail to live up to their end of the bargain. You have it just like a normal business. You have an agreement. I'm going to do this. I'm going to execute this. And we're going to release your funding tranches. Whether you are the one that is at the helms of affair or you are not the one during the time the transaction took place, governance is a continuum. You inherit both the assets and the liability. But when you, maybe by the time you get to the position of authority and you want to shy away from the outstanding, from the debt or from your commitment or the commitment of the past government, maybe because they are not in tune with your party or with your ideology, you put us in an unnecessary embarrassment or national embarrassment. Let me put it that way. I even know of an individual that the federal government, this was a man who recovered over $12 billion back to Nigeria. In fact, it was part of the money that some of the states were used as a bailout when they were owing workers 8 months, 1 year salaries. And the agreement was that if I chase this money and I got back this money, I'm entitled to my 20%. Mm-hmm. If I didn't win the case, yes, federal government hold me nothing. And he got the money back. You are using it, bail out workers. And for the man to get his money, the man personally told me that I could have gone to international court. I will know what I can do. I get my money from all the Nigerian assets or reserve, but it's going to be an embarrassment, a national embarrassment. So it just like I was listening to Lumide that we don't take preventive measure until that thing happen and keep occurring again and again and again. I thought federal government could do better than this, than putting the nation in an embarrassment situation.
All right.
An embarrassing situation, rather.
Yeah, I have a whole lot of questions, but let's start from one place. Now, the president, the Chinese firm are going for Nigerian assets in 8 countries: United Kingdom, United States, and some other countries. So my question now is, it seems as if this particular deal is not the only deal that the Chinese are seeking redress. That means they have other deals that have gone wrong. And how were they able to secure this presidential jets outside the country, and in the midst of the presidency trying to acquire new presidential jets? So just how many jets do we even have in this country that we're being asked to tighten our belt?
Yeah, first and foremost, there will always be a foreign trip, whether the president or the vice president or Minister of Foreign Affairs or ambassador need to represent. So anytime the jet land, and it will be grounded in those countries they got injunction from. So to avoid all these things, I'll still say the dialogue or renegotiate the instrument. Okay, we don't have such fund now, but let's be paying bit by bit. Even bank does that if your business or your transaction goes south. So you can renegotiate the instrument. Oh, I'm supposed to be paying 5 naira, for example, every month. Oh, because I just came on board, those people that were there before me, they mismanaged the resources and all of that. Give me the opportunity. Let me be paying 1 naira every month. So by the time you show commitment, but if you are saying you knew nothing about what happened in the past, you are not going to sanction it, they know how to get their money, of course, because they are businessmen and they don't want to lose funds. So just like I said, as a businessman or as a government, or you inherit both asset and liability. So if you are doing the needful, other countries too, they are owing construction. And don't forget that Chinese company, they are one of the biggest construction company, not only in Nigeria, but in Africa. So, and I know that this kind of a thing, I think one of these African countries, where they almost is the airport, so to say, some of their critical infrastructures. So if Chinese, they are not saying give us crude oil, let's execute this project for you, but we know we have enough resources, let's execute this project on your behalf. Why you be paying us bit by bit? I didn't see anything difficult in that, but just for the future's sake, I don't think you should get to this point. Yeah, but go back to the table, renegotiate, and this will but so that to avoid all these embarrassing situations.
Yeah. So before Olumide comes in again, just to back up what you just said, now things went sour between Ogun State. The business deal here is between Ogun State and the Chinese company, and things went sour in 2016, way back in 2016, when Ogun State government revoked the company's export processing zone management contract. That's how this thing started. So now the Chinese company has been seeking redress since 2016, and they went to the court in Paris to file for this particular order to confiscate the presidential jets because, according to them, Ogun State violated one of their bilateral agreements, which is why we should be very careful when we go into these bilateral agreements, right?
Yeah. Yes, of course. For any state to secure whether loan abroad or bilateral agreement, it will be the federal government usually stand as what we call the guarantor to guarantee such instruments, to guarantee such deals. So of course, it's just like here, if you stand in for somebody and renegade on his own obligation, you go after the guarantor. Of course, you think you can recover your money from. But of course, just like I said, it is in this climb that maybe, I don't want to mention party, this party left, an administration left that does not belong to the new party that came on board. They don't want to attend, or they don't want to honor whatever agreement. It happened even in project. That's why we have so many abandoned projects later all over the state, because this new administration came on board. I'm PDP, or I'm APC, or I'm a Labour Party, so I don't have anything to do, or I want to initiate my own program, my own project, which, if you look at it, that particular administration might not even finish it. So governors, like I said, I still maintain that fact that it should be a continual stuff. So whatever you meet on ground, renegotiate. Kudos to the last administration, that's during the President Buhari, who said that he was not going to embark on a new project, on a new infrastructure, but he will look at the old project where the last administration, left behind. If there's a one, I knew that there was a one they renegotiated. They got about $4 million reduction from what previous administration has done. So those are the things, those are the challenges. If not, if you are standing in for someone, that means you are guaranteed. So if the person refuses to honor the agreement, of course, they will come after you. Yeah. It's all about business.
All right. So lastly, how will this affect our relation or bilateral relations with the Chinese right now? Because I know Nigeria loves to do business with the Chinese government, and this is quite like a dent on our image. I don't know whether they would still want to further do business with Nigerians, knowing fully well how this went south. So how will this affect our relations?
It will, because they also have their association, and just like you said, I'm sure. I think China, if not number one, where destination where Nigerians, businesses or government, have so much transaction, bilateral relationship, international trade, etc., etc. So doing this is not just about federal government alone or Ogun State government in particular, but it's snowball across all the state. Like, if you are going there, be careful. Just like the Americans or the UK, we say that if you are traveling to this particular state, for example, in Nigeria, please be careful because of situation, security report. So it's the same thing for these. Please, I just want to implore our government, they can do better. They can go back to the table and see what they can do to remedy this situation, because it's going to affect all the people doing business, and it might make Chinese to shy away from Nigeria as the next destination of businesses in Africa.
All right, very well said. Away from this particular story, let's take a look at another story on the front page of the Guardian. It says, Discos defend tariff hike, claim Band A customers pay lowest rates in West Africa. What's your take on this?
I want to take a cue. This time around, I might want to believe them, because come to think of it, if you check, I'm still saying it, it might be a bitter truth. Nigeria is still among the what will I call it, in West Africa. Don't let me generalize it. It's still among the lowest nations, as in that pay the lowest tariff, yes, when it comes to electricity, you understand. But because we have the numbers, and our government, they hardly give incentive to something that benefits the masses. You understand? So I'm sure it's a situation I've seen in a place, in a country, part of in a state in Nigeria, where I think it was whether the commissioner or the governor in that particular state, there's an area that have been owing the NEPA Situa that we normally call them almost hundreds of millions of naira, and he just decided to set it off so that my people, that can be a kind of relief. If you hear the kind of amount of money these people pay to bring in their machines, to bring in their equipment, port and all of that, these are the area that the government can give them an incentive, 50% reduction or 60% reduction, so as to, it will snowball to the masses or to the people in Nigeria who are customers of this power holding company, because of course they are in a business. It's not a government run parastatal or company, so they want to make profit, so to say, and they can't be spending more than they earn. They want to, of course, break even, and after breaking even, at least to make at least a margin as a profit. So it still boils down to the government. They are not being proactive, and these are the things that every now and then, just trust me, in the next 1 year, this thing will still happen again. So what are the government doing? They still need to think out of the box. There are so many essential services, that make businesses run smoothly, that makes the economy run smoothly, that they need to pay more attention. Whether you want to give tax relief, you want to give tax holiday, you want to give a kind of incentive, even just like in medical, if you are bringing medical equipment to this country, they extend such gestures to them. Why not electricity that is being beneficial to all and sundry?
All right, thank you very much. Let's move our attention to this particular headline that me and Vivian were discussing before. It's on the Punch paper. It says harvest season reduces inflation by 39.5%. I know yesterday, or I think day before yesterday, we also read a report that military had sent their troops to the northern states to secure the farms and all that. But with this food harvest season reducing inflation, what are your hopes? What are your thoughts? It almost seems too good to be true, but it is a good thing to rejoice about. But what are your thoughts? I also said that I'm waiting till tomorrow to go to the market to confirm this reduction. But what are your thoughts about this?
But you and I know that it's very difficult. Whatever goes up in Nigeria hardly comes down when it comes to prices of food commodity and food condiment, But it's just, at least sometimes I do use it to challenge when I'm making some transactions. They like, but the government said that this thing has been reduced. Why are you still, selling it at this particular point, particular prices? But let's just hope that it will snowball. It's not just showing us paper workings. It will be a reality. It will be something that the marketers or the traders will really, shows that things has really come down. But don't forget, there are so many other things that make prices goes up in Nigeria, especially when it comes to the issue of transportation, bringing the farm produce to the city where it's being needed and all of that, the road infrastructure. And you imagine that for a product of, let's say for example, for a harvest of let's say 1 million, it might take you almost 500, 700,000 to bring into the city. So you see, discover that the prices still remain the same, while the inflation reduction in the book record a lower percentage. So it still boils down to other critical factors that has to do with this farm produce. How do they bring it out to the market? What's the cost of fuel or the cost of transportation and all of that? I told us once in this platform. A driver bringing stuff from, I think whether from Kano, one of these northern states, said that they usually prepare almost 400,000 as money to part with on the road, not money for fuel, not money for to repair the vehicle when he had issue. To part on the road from every point to another point. I don't want to mention this paramilitary will be here, will give them. They say there's a fixed price. There's a fixed price that you must pay. So do you think that person will say there's inflation reduction? But I'm not sure those people will leave the road and say you can go freely, so that to go and supply all those farm produce. So those are the things that bring about cost or rise in the cost of farm produce. But we just hope that it will come down. Maybe when they say that the inflation has come down, those people that are marking the road will also say, instead of you to pay 10,000, pay 5,000. I doubt it.
All right, just in less than a minute, before we brought you on, we were talking about something, preemptive measures. So I'd like to take you up on this. The Daily Trust newspaper, which says 3.7 million Kano residents and 362 communities at risk. What can be done right now to salvage this? What can be done right now, and what preemptive measures? Because this is still going to flood. It's every year. So what can be done right now, and what can we do against next year?
I'm sure each state have a master plan of their state, and they should look at all these areas, those areas that are prone to flood and all of that, and address it. They have a master plan. The House of your General, whether of the Federation or the state, look at it at people building in a right of way, or where there should be drainage and all of that. All those things should be addressed. And if some of our drainage have been filled up, it is high time they begin to, we still have problem with a maintenance culture. It's not about providing infrastructure, it's about maintaining it, because if you get to a point the infrastructure will decay, or it will, maybe the time span or that it can stay has lapsed, and you need to maintain it. You need to put so many things in place. So when you are saying preventive measure, drainage, and also reorientate the people. It's not when it is raining. That's when you will. That's when you bring your waste bin and discharge it on the drainage, so that you feel that so I don't have to pay for those cat pusher that throw away the rubbish and all of that. So reorientation, drainage, and as well, if there is any house sitting on maybe where there's supposed to be a canal, show them the master plan, but at least you can compensate them. Don't just bring down somebody's house who have labor, because so many people, want to see pieces of land, they don't want to know the plan in that community or in that area. They just want to build on it. So our people need to be orientated. Before you start building, go to the local government, ask, is this place under acquisition? If not, is there public infrastructure that we need to go through this place? So those are the things that they need to put in place. Information, reorientate our people, drainage, look at the master plan, and let it be accessible to the people at the local level.
That's a safe place to land, Adeniyi. Massive sensitization is key. Thank you so much for being brilliant on the show as usual today. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
All right.
And greetings from Johannesburg.
I thought as much. See you when you come back.
Exactly.
All right. So there's something he said about, talking about the prices of goods coming down in Nigeria. He said, you and I know that in Nigeria, when stuff goes up, it's not easy to come down. But the law of gravity says whatever goes up must come down. Now, one of the things that can be done is a form of regulation. There must be a regulator, and there must be an enforcement and implementation of whatever laws is set in place, so that when prices of goods are supposed to be down, they must be down. The marketers and the distributors must obey.
He said something also. He said every state has a master plan. So I would like to go with that and believe that every state actually has a master plan.
You're talking about the flooding
For the flooding, yes. So what are they doing about this master plan? And how many administrations and what percentage Have they been able to implement this master plan? I think that's the next question we should be asking now.
Absolutely.
But this is where we round off on the newspaper review. Stay tuned. We still have a whole lot more. Views from the Net is coming up shortly. Stay tuned.
Divest, divest, divest.
Welcome back. It's still the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television, and this is Views from the Net. This is where we open up the phone lines. This is where we get conversational and hear some of your opinions on certain issues, affecting our society. And the question for today is quite interesting. It says, what is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? People have a whole lot of things they do when they wake up in the morning, and we have about 5 options here. A is talk to your partner. B, that is even if you have a partner.
Yeah.
Or you talk to your pillow. B is drink water. C is meditate or pray. C is exercise for those who like to keep their body fit. And E, which most people like to do, is check social media. So what is the first thing you wake up to do in the morning? Talk to your partner, drink water, meditate or pray, exercise, or just pick up your phone and check your social media. Yeah. Vivian, what is the first thing you do?
Oh, C for me.
C.
And in that order, meditate and pray.
Well, sometimes C or E, depends. Why I say C or E?
C or E?
Yes.
E being check social media.
Because sometimes I randomly wake up in the middle of the night and I check my phone, see whether there are messages, or if I can't sleep, then I open up the social media and check some things, stories and all that. So sometimes, and when I now check the time that, it's time for me to get up, and I'll pray. So it's between C or D. No. I hope someday it will be A or C, A, and E.
For me, God is my God, not social media. I mean, I must meditate and pray. Look, when I wake up, before I go to social media, I must put myself in a particular space because I like to regulate what I receive. Social media is a crazy space. People just dish out nonsense. So I like to protect myself. So what I do first, like I said earlier on, is to meditate, see where I am that particular day, and then pray. But we got Imole from Abadagri who says, if I wake before my alarm wakes me up, I immediately locate and look at my phone first to make sure I didn't sleep past my alarm time, or else I'm in trouble at work. But if the alarm wakes me up, I pray to God first and thank Him for protection and a fruitful day ahead. God over everything. I agree. God over everything.
This next one is quite funny. I wonder why he even said, this is Jide from Ibadan. It says, I somersault and say, up and grateful, oh Lord, and grateful, oh Lord.
I'm even trying to wrap my head around it. So wait, he wakes up, he somersaults and he says, up. What he says is, up and grateful, oh Lord. Up and grateful. Okay, oh, I'm up.
Yes.
And I'm grateful, oh Lord. Oh, all right.
Maybe the somersault is some form of expression, appreciation.
Of being alive.
Yes, of some form of exercise too, if you look at it. I mean, not everybody... Yeah, it's a trend also that's going on right now, so people are doing that.
Jide has a sense of humor. I like it.
I like that. You have Adiola, right?
Yes, I have Adiola from Lagos, and Adiola says, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is meditate and pray, okay? I find that starting my day with a quiet moment of reflection and connection with the higher power helps me set intentions and feel more grounded. It's essential to take a few minutes each day to center myself and prioritize my well-being. Adiola just gave expression to my thoughts exactly.
I think I do that sometimes, but I do it in a funny way. Like when I wake up, I ask myself, so what's so good about today?
No, but you are just going to start today.
Yes.
You are just going to start today. So you can tell yourself that today is going to be good.
Yes, when I wake up also, I also reminisce on what happened the previous day. And I try to find some sort of positivity. Okay, yesterday this and this happened. Sometimes I even go and try and remember what's in my bank account, and I say, okay, today will be better. Today my bank account will be fatter than yesterday. Okay, and so I just try to cheer myself.
When you wake up and you think of what happened yesterday, first thing in the morning, which is today, a new day, what did you do before you sleep? Say yesterday, didn't you think about what happened all day long before you slept? And then now say, tomorrow is going to be better. That's what I do.
I did, but I would also remember that, okay, this is what happened yesterday. I try to remember the good and bad things that happened yesterday. And I say, okay, today, what can I do better? What am I supposed to do? And what can I do better? I start to plan my day by the minute, or even by the hour, by the minute. I'm supposed to get up. I'm supposed to be out of the house already. And what I normally also do is I also check my phone at every minute. So I know that, I'm supposed to be in the shower, I'm supposed to be dressing up, I'm supposed to be out, it just helps me.
Oh, you mean the time on your phone?
The time on the phone.
Have you noticed that people, when you want to check your time now, when you want to time yourself, people go to their phones, not even their wristwatches anymore.
Don't do that.
Looks like the wristwatch is going out of fashion or something.
Yes, I think it has to do with the fact that you can set alarm. Though you can also do it on your wristwatch, but it's much more easier to just set alarms and all that. Set a timer for yourself. Let's move on. This is Neoma from Lagos. She says, I choose to drink water as the first thing I do in the morning. After a night of sleep, my body needs rehydration to function optimally. Drinking water helps me feel refreshed and alert, making it easier to tackle the day's task. Plus, it is a simple habit to maintain. Yes, I also do that, but I think it's after prayer. I drink water and I go do my business.
For me, it's not even water. I drink tea or coffee, really, after prayer. In fact, sometimes before prayer, to jumpstart my system.
I like to take water. It refreshes my body.
All right. I got Kike from Yabatek. And Kike says, exercise is my go-to morning routine. Starting my day with physical activity gets my blood pumping and energizes me for the day ahead. It's also a great way to clear my mind and set a positive tone. Whether it's a brisk walk or a trip to the gym, exercise helps me feel more focused and productive. Once again, Kike from Yabatech.
John from Abeokuta comes with a new twist. I like this one. He says, talking to my partner is the first thing I do in the morning. Such a beautiful thing. Love is a beautiful thing. Sharing my thoughts, goals, and gratitude with my loved one helps us stay connected and aligned. It is a beautiful way to start the day, and I feel more supported and motivated knowing we are in this together. That is if you went to bed as friends. You don't go to bed with grudges.
Yeah, this is for married couples, yeah?
Yes, for married couples.
Aha, okay. You took John from Abeokuta.
Yes.
I got Queen from Great Yabatech, and Queen says, I opt for checking social media first thing in the morning, but I know it's not the healthiest habit. Afterwards, call the love of my life because it's important, and I want to hear his sweet voice. I'm working on replacing it with meditation or reading to start my day more mindfully. Social media can be a distraction, and I want to prioritize my mental well-being and productivity. Queen from Great Yabatech.
I like that, but Queen, why do you want to replace? I mean, it's a good thing. At least you wake up in the morning and, well, social media, then the love of your life, well, it's still in the order of things.
But did you hear what she said?
She wants to, she wants to replace it.
Yes, there's a reason why she wants to replace it, because she knows it's not the best thing. In fact, she said social media can be a distraction, and I want to prioritize my mental well-being and productivity. She talks about mental well-being and productivity. All right,
but don't replace talking to you can replace social media. I think that would sound better. I have this one, Mercy from Unilag.
Yeah.
Now, this one says, I've recently started practicing yoga and meditation, and it's been incredibly beneficial for my mental health. It helps me manage stress, stay focused, and feel more grounded. I highly recommend it to anyone looking to improve their well-being. Mercy from Unilag.
Okay, Grace from Bariga says, I believe in the power of gratitude, so I start my day by writing down 3 things I'm thankful for. It helps me cultivate a positive mindset and appreciate the good things in my life. It's amazing how it sets the tone for a wonderful day. This is beautiful.
It's a new one. I like that. I never thought of it. Writing down 3 things you're grateful for. I mean, by the end of the month, you'll have a whole book of things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Now, I have this one, Omolara from Abuja. She says, I believe in continuous learning and self-improvement, not listed. I start my day by reading something inspiring or educational. It helps me expand my knowledge, gain new insights, and stay motivated to achieve my goals. Omolara, I'm sure if you are resuming work probably 6 or 7 a.m., I want to say how, well, it's a good thing. I mean, waking up in the morning and taking a book to read.
Yeah.
Your mind must be, at a very optimal level, at a very balanced place to pick up the book and read in the morning.
That's the best time to read. It's either early in the morning or late at night.
Immediately you wake up?
Yes, I do it too. It's the best. The concentration is at the peak. And you know what? If you wake up very, very early, around 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m., most of the troublemakers are asleep. So it's very, very quiet. So you can really concentrate on what you're reading. It's a beautiful one. I like it, Molara. Last but not least, Norris from Delta State says, "Oh, more, it's supposed to be C and E, but my own now to wake up on fridge, waka around the house for like 2 minutes to check what's up last night. If nothing's up, I go back to bed again." Small, Norris from Delta.
Well, Norris is a foodie, so he wakes up in the morning and checks what's in the fridge. Do I have goodies, food, and all that? It's people have different things that they do in the morning.
And then Norris walks around the house.
But he says it's supposed to be C or E.
You see now. And he said it's supposed to be C or E. Let's check out what C or E is again. And C is meditate and pray. Norris is saying he knows this is the right thing, meditate and pray. And then E, he says check social media. Well, that was very, very interesting. Thanks, guys, as usual, for your very, very interesting contribution. We'll take a short break. When we come back, the show continues. Stay with us.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, "What a ride!" High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Harangue, harangue, harangue.
Well, the show is the Breakfast Cafe right here on High Impact TV. Always a pleasure to have you join us. Now, this segment is where we're going to talk about topical issues, and today we are going to be discussing environmental policy and advocacy for change. Just to give you a little background before we bring up our guest analyst, who is Desmond Majekodunmi. This is it. Environmental policy serves as the backbone of governmental efforts to safeguard our planet by regulating human activities that impact the environment. These policies set the stage for sustainable practices, pollution control, conservation of natural resources, and mitigation of climate change effects. They are crucial in shaping how societies interact with their surroundings and play a pivotal role in ensuring a healthy and balanced ecosystem for current and future generations. Now, on the other hand, advocacy for change in environmental policy amplifies the voices of individuals, organizations, and communities striving for a more sustainable and environmentally conscious future. This advocacy involves raising awareness about environmental issues, mobilizing support for policy changes, and holding decision makers accountable for their change. Now, we can push for more stringent regulations, innovative solutions, and inclusive policies that prioritize environmental protection and sustainability. And who better to help us do this than an advocate himself when it comes to the environment, Desmond Majekodunmi. It's so good to see you this morning, Desmond. Thank you for joining us, and good morning. Can you hear me, Desmond?
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So let's hit the ground running, right? What are the most effective strategies for advocating for environmental policy changes?
Well, the most effective thing is just to let people appreciate the importance of environment. In fact, I would pose a question to both of you in the studio right now. And in fact, I'm going to give you a challenge. We are going to give you a prize of 2 million naira each.
Wow.
If you, or in fact any of your listeners or viewers, can do this test.
Bring it on, Madam. Bring it on.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, but I know that my money is very safe because this test is an impossible task. Can you hold your breath for 20 minutes?
Oh Lord. How come you're saying this? I was looking forward to grabbing that 2 million. Yes. But you know the answer is no. There's no way I can hold my breath for even 10 minutes. You know, talking of 20.
Right. If you do it more than 10 minutes, we will call you Mami Watao. Yeah. So then the other question, as I'm sure you know, a lot of us know, why can we not hold our breath for such a long time? Because we need what? Oxygen, our most essential commodity, far more essential than every other thing that we seem to hold very, very valuable. But of course, it's not just oxygen that comes from the environment. It's the water that comes from a healthy environment. It's the food. It's the medicine. Everything. The environment is our life support system. Okay? And if we damage it or if we, distort it, then it's going to affect us. And if we distort it too badly, it'll wipe us out. And unfortunately, this is what we've been seeing in different parts of the world, even in parts of our own dear country, Nigeria. Just a couple of days ago, there was some terrible floods in some of the states, and those wiped people out. And these things, whilst they do occur naturally at times, they are being exaggerated, exacerbated by our negative impact on the environment, particularly the air pollution. But it's also the soil pollution, the water pollution, the destruction of many, many species. So we as human beings, not just Nigerians, but we as human beings are actually impacting very, very negatively globally on our environment. And here in Nigeria, where we're blessed with a wonderful, wonderful environment, we're also causing too much damage, and it's giving us a lot of negative impacts. So the main thing is to create awareness about how important the environment is. Again, we repeat it is our life support system.
Thank you very much. You mentioned something about flood. So it brings me to my next question. What roles the government, corporations, NGO playing in shaping environmental policy? I mean, just this morning, we had about 3.6 million Nigerians at risk, and about a lot of communities at risk regarding this flood. How did we even get to this level, and what can we do to quickly get out of this situation?
Yeah, it's very worrisome. That's a lot of people at risk, and that's just an estimate. That risk factor could increase very dramatically because what we're having now in different parts of the world and even in Nigeria is very heavy rainfall. In fact, they call it rain bomb. That you can have 2 weeks rain, 3 weeks rain, can fall in one day. And this is a very difficult situation to contain. But the most important thing is, at least, let's enhance what nature has. There's ways that nature deals with extra rain, with what could be flooding. The streams will carry the water into the rivers carry it, ends up in the sea, and the cycle continues. However, if we disable the ability of those streams and rivers to carry enough of this water, you're going to have terrible floods. And What am I talking about? I'm talking about the silting up, erosion. You see, we've cut down too many trees, too much of the vegetation that is near the rivers, that is on the river banks. And these trees and vegetation, it's not just that they're giving us that essential commodity, the oxygen. The root zone of those trees and vegetation, they are holding the soil together, preventing erosion. So we clear all these trees and vegetable. As soon as water comes, erosion, and then that erosion puts more sand into the bottom of the streams, the river beds and so on. It gives it less ability. So we need to stop cutting down so much. We need to start replanting. And we're happy to see that there are some programs which have been taken quite seriously now, especially in Lagos, but other states as well, where they are pushing for serious replanting. At least the announcements have been made and some of the programs have started, but this needs to be taken far more seriously. It's no longer a crisis. United Nations Secretary General 2015, he said, this environment issue, it's a crisis. By 2023, when we started recording the hottest year ever recorded by humanity, he said, no, it's not a crisis anymore, it's an emergency. And we need to treat it as an emergency and prioritize. Okay, so to make sure that we cause less damage, or to at least prevent the damage from becoming too much, reduce the pollution. And we're seeing some, little signs in that direction of, getting vehicles and generating machines that are not so polluting as before, but also massive regreening. There's a reason why our flag in Nigeria is green, white, green. That's why I'm wearing this. You see, green, small white, green.
Yeah, now let me ask you, you talked about extreme rainfall in some parts of Nigeria. Flip the coin. In Benue State, North Central, Nigeria's food basket, it's not been raining. There's been no rain. And yesterday it was in the papers that farmers are crying that there's drought in the land and this could lead it to food insecurity. Now, you talked about the UN saying this is an emergency now. How do you explain this irregular rainfall pattern where in the same Nigeria, extreme rainfall on one hand, on the other hand, there is no rainfall? Is it due to natural causes? And then what can be done though?
Very, very, very good question. You see, again, it comes back to the way that we have abused nature, abused our mother, the ultimate mother. That's why they call her Mother Nature for a reason. She's a typical mother. She gives us everything that we need. And, can anybody listening to me, or even you two in the studio, can you even dare to think of stopping your mama?
No way.
But that's what we're doing collectively as human beings, as Nigerians. We're actually slapping mama. Now, the thing about Mother Nature is she goes by the inviolable laws of action begetting reaction. What you sow into nature is what you reap. You cannot plant cassava and harvest cocoa. Now, that's the reality. So again, back to the vegetation. You see, part of the rain cycle, and it's a very complex cycle, and that's why we refer to creation as a miracle of creation. It's a very complex, miraculous cycle. Because what happens is, when the rain falls, even if it's very heavy in a certain area, the trees and the thick vegetation there, they absorb the water into their root zone, they take it up, and they eventually evaporate it through the leaves, through a process called transvaporation. So this puts more moisture that has fallen in that area up into the air, into the atmosphere, and then the breezes blow. And the fact that the breeze even blows, that's a whole other science behind that. But anyway, the breeze blows and it carries the moisture to another location, and again, it now falls as rain. So the cycle of rain going forward and forward continues. But if you remove the vegetation, then you've put a stopgap. So there's no opportunity for that rain that had fallen in one area to now be lifted up by the trees and put back into the atmosphere through transvaporation. So again, back the green. So these areas will not be going through what they're going through. We cannot afford to have food scarcity, especially in a country like Nigeria that is so richly endowed with fantastic, wonderful, fertile soil. It's a great country. Oh yes, so green, green, green. That's what we're promoting. Trees, 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 and even more trees.
Very well said.
Thank you very much. I'd like to take you up on something that we don't seem to put into consideration, which is wildlife. If you go to most of our national zoos, it's an eyesore. I can't remember if any of our zoos have lions, zebras, giraffes, and all that. So what is happening to the wildlife? I know Nigerians love meat. We love to we kill all kinds of animals and put them on our plates and all that. So, but how can, because wildlife also matters, how can we maintain the wildlife also?
You hit the nail on the head. Wildlife also matters. Again, it's part of the miracle of creation. And when we're looking at the wildlife, and we're not just talking of the big animals, although they're extremely important, like the elephants and the lions. They all have specific roles to play. For instance, the elephant opens up pathways in the bush, in the forest, that other animals can go through. And then in the dry season, the tusk of the elephant, he uses it to dig the ground to get water. And he's not greedy. After he drinks, other animals come and drink water that the elephant has excavated for them. So yes, the wildlife, you see, it's part of the web of life. Like a spider's web.
Yes.
If you remove one strand, you move another strand, eventually you move a final strand, and then the whole web
breaks
and start to collapse. And this is what we're doing with the web of life, the wonderful, miraculous web of life in Nigeria. And unfortunately, it's a recent development because our forefathers, they were quite wise about it. They only hunted the animals at a certain time. They know when the gestation period is going to come, when the animals will be giving birth and pregnant. They wouldn't hunt at that time. They wouldn't generally hunt for the young ones that allow them to grow. But now we're doing it in a very, very aggressive way. And unfortunately, we need to curtail our desire for the bush meat. There's other ways of getting meat without having to just, rip up all the wildlife that's there. It's very, very, very important. And we're trying to advocate for that, to actually be a lot more friendly to the wildlife, a lot more friendly to nature. Otherwise, she's going to hit us back.
As we wrap this up, where there is desire, it's not always easy to control yourself. Like Olumide said, Nigerians love wildlife, bushmeat, like we call it here. Now, this is a question, how do you balance, the desire for wildlife and protecting the environment? Now, I remember talking to an expert like yourself not too long ago, that rabbit, which is a form of wildlife, is very proteinous and delicious. Now, instead of going into the forest to hunt them down and kill all of them and have them go extinct, why don't you farm them in a particular location? And then you have people come to buy and sell as well. So you have the species protected and not going extinct. I don't know, this is one of the ways, but what do you think? What else can be done to also continue to eat what you want, but also protect the environment?
No, exactly. You're absolutely right. We need to go into farming of these types of animals that, people desire. They're very, very, very tasty. There's no doubt about that. We need to go into a lot more and they can be farmed. The rabbits, the bushmeat, all those things, they can actually be farmed. And rather than going into the forest, but also I think the main thing is just protect our forest reserves.
Yes,
and that's also a challenge. That's been a big challenge in the past. We haven't really protected them the way we should protect them, and it also leads to insecurity. Although I hear there's some moves now to increase the forest rangers and so on. So don't come hunting in these reserves. We must just leave it intact like that, and then farm them and so on and so forth. But also, there's nothing wrong with consuming more vegetables. You know, the human species is actually omnivorous.
Yeah, it's true. You're very, very right. I wish we could go on and on, Desmond, but this is where we get to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being brilliant on the show this morning, as usual. Thank you.
Okay, my pleasure. And next time we'll have a competition where maybe you'll be able to win some of that money.
Yes, I want that 2 million. I want it. All right, that was Desmond Majekodunmi, environmentalist. And, you know, a very, very important topic here, like we said. What we talked about was environmental policy and advocacy for change. This is very, very important, Olumide. And I like the fact that we get to talk about stuff like this right here on High Impact TV.
And I love what he said. I love the insightful things he said. How he explained, you know, he just explained Mother Nature in a very...
he simplified it and in a very relatable manner.
In a relatable manner, so we understand the circle of things, the circle of life.
There's something he said, can you dare to slap your mother?
And that's what we've been doing to Mother Nature all this while. And he said that Mother Nature is consequences. You do something, the repercussion immediately. Just like our actual mother who would still pardon and forgive.
So he said you can't plant yam and reap cocoa yam.
Yes.
All right, we could go on and on, I'm telling you, but we got to take a break. When we come back, the show continues. Stay with us.
All right. Guess the animal. Vivian, this is you.
Okay, time for games. This is our house style. It's a culture that you find right here, only on High Impact TV. So, guess the animal is what we are doing today. All right, fingers crossed. Bring it on.
Producers, remember
Bring it on.
that we do not have, some animals are extinct in Nigeria. So remember, remember that. All right, let's see.
Yes, let's do this. Let's go. Okay. In case you're wondering, I'm just waiting for the producer to bring it on. Yeah.
This looks like
a crocodile or a frog?
Yes, or a toad. You know,
frog?
I think it's a frog.
Toad?
Either a frog or a toad.
Frog or toad?
Yes,
or
but
crocodile.
We almost guessed it.
Nice one, nice one. Okay, I love it.
I like that. All right, so I'm up next. Let's see what they have for me. Remember, we don't have all these animals in Nigeria.
Stop. Just
it's been a while since I've...
Oh my God.
It looks like a bushmeat or...
which bushmeat?
It looks like a wolf.
Gosh, it looks scary.
Like a wolf. I think it's a wolf. This is like a wolf. A
brown dog. Well, at least you got close.
Yeah, the eyes look very scary.
Okay, I'm liking this though. Let's see what's next. I should know this is a cat.
Yeah.
A cat, a leopard, or a tiger, or a lion. I have to get this one. A cat. Yeah. No, but I said a cat first.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's see what they have for me this time around. This looks like
a dog?
No, not a dog. A donkey or a giraffe or a kangaroo. A kangaroo. I think a kangaroo. Looks like a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the producer is having so much fun. See that evil laughter. Evil laughter. Okay, so what's next? God, see the hairy eyes. Man, I can't even guess. What's this?
Tiger or an elephant or something.
Hippopotamus?
I think so. It looks.
What? That's an elephant? Oh, wow. Okay, so this is for Olumide now.
This should be a bird.
Yeah, it looks like a bird.
But I don't know which of the bird.
Bird or dog?
It looks like a bird. Or a fox. A bird or a fox. Wow.
Guinea pig. This producer is evil.
Very evil.
A guinea pig. Gosh. Okay. So what's? This must be a water-born animal.
I think.
Is it a quail?
Or a squid.
Please say something, producer. Well, a quail. Whatever it is, a quail. Yay! I got it. All right. Oh, okay. Let me know you get
This
this
should
one.
be a tiger or a leopard.
Yes.
Should be a tiger.
Yeah, man, see the ferocious look on Olumide's face right now.
Should be a tiger. Come on. Come on.
Producer, you're cracking me up. Okay,
Right.
I hope I get this next one. What's up?
And this looks like a guinea pig.
No, this looks like a cat.
Can't be a cat.
One of the cats. No, not a lion is a cat, right? A
Yes.
tiger is a cat.
Yes.
It's in the cat family. I don't know which cat exactly.
Could be a fox.
Koala. A koala. Jeez, I've never seen that before. But thanks for the education, though. Yes, we are learning. I like it. Thank you.
Let's see what they
Olumide is
have.
next.
I'm almost giving up.
No, don't give up.
No, I have no idea what this is.
Black eyes.
I couldn't even guess. No, I told you that some of these animals we don't even have it in the zoo.
Yeah. Okay. This is either a chicken or a turkey or a bird. Piglet? Oh my God, no. Okay, yeah. Thanks for the education, though. I like it. Yeah.
A hippo.
Yeah, it looks like a hippo.
A hippo.
A rhino.
I've not seen.
Oh, these rhinos are the ones that are going extinct in South Africa now because of the husk.
Yes.
Yeah, nice one. Okay, this is the last. Please let me get this one.
It's a bird.
This is a bird.
A parrot or.
Yeah, either a parrot, but I don't know what bird it is, but it's a bird. Yeah, a pheasant. Yeah, never seen this.
You could
But
have
thank
given
you.
us a
But it's a
parrot.
bird. A bird is a bird.
Or an eagle.
We are done for today. Thank you, producer. That was a brain teaser, and I liked it. Thank you. All right, now we'll take a break. Yeah, and while we're on the break, we'll take a look at the weather forecast for the day. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You just saw the weather forecast. A bit of thunderstorm in Kano, bit of showers and cloudy weather in Lagos. So whatever you're doing, whatever you plan to do, please always be prepared for in case of any emergency, in case of showers and all that, and have a coat or something. But this is where we would call it a wraps on today, this week's edition of the Breakfast Cafe. Like I always say, it takes a whole village to put this whole show together. The directors, the producers, the technical crew, the audio engineers, everyone. I like to say a big thank you for making this a success. But the bigger thank you is to you sitting down, wherever you are, at home, at work, on the road, watching us and letting us entertain you and educate you. A big thank you to you. Let's do this again next week. Don't forget, you can also follow us on all our social media pages at High Impact Studios, at High Impact TV, The Breakfast Cafe _. I am Olumide Shokoya. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Well, Olumide said it all. I am Vivian Oguche. Have a fantastic week ahead. Bye.